So using an ADU cost calculator is a really easy way to get a ballpark estimate of your costs. And at the time of publishing this video, there's a cost calculator in the county of San Mateo, as well as one for Napa and Sonoma counties. And if you don't live in one of those three counties, don't worry. Use the San Mateo calculator, and I'll teach you a trick at the end to modify the result because we don't all live in San Mateo. So first go to the description below the video, and I'll show you what that looks like, awkwardly seeing my own video. There's a little show more button in the description. And then if you go all the way to the bottom, I put in link to the County of San Mateo ADU cost calculator. So you just click that and it should open up. So here you see there's a bunch of inputs on the left side, and on the right side, it's calculating your construction costs. That's your all-in construction cost. And it's also trying to calculate your rental income, your potential rental value that you're creating. I'm going to focus a lot on the costs today. So in the bottom right section where my cursor is right now. Okay, let's fill out the fields one at a time. I'll explain the fields that are less intuitive as we're going, and I'll fill in each field with a typical project based on the hundreds of homeowners who have subscribed to How To ADU and shared some of their information about their projects with me. So we're going to start, and we're going to say we're in South San Francisco because that's the part of San Mateo County that I've built a little conversion tool for at the end. And right off the bat, it's going to ask you type of construction. Your options are conversion of part of the house, conversion of part of garage or a pool house, new construction, or modular construction. I'm going to put in new construction because that's the most typical answer for my subscribers. But you could see later on, if you switch this, then it makes a really significant difference. Converting an existing part of the house is often one of the cheapest ways to produce an ADU because you're already under the right conditions. You can use the existing walls and roof and weather-tight shell, and you're just trimming it out a little bit differently. Conversion of a garage, this can be inexpensive in the right conditions, but a lot of the time it's there's a lot of gotchas. And so they put this out separate, and their cost calculator will have some different assumptions about you needing to retrofit some parts of the garage. New construction is the most typical, and modular is going to be one of the cheaper ways to get to a larger square footage. But let's do new construction. Or you can always look up what exactly they mean. New construction, see they're saying, okay, whether it's attached or detached, conversion of part of the house, or modular panelized. Yep, makes sense. The number of bedrooms, number of new bedrooms, and I'm going to put in it's a 1 bedroom, and I'm going to put in it's a 1 bathroom. I'm going to say we are not on a septic system because this, again, is a really typical way to answer. 2 bedrooms are pretty common too. For square footage, I'm going to put 749 square feet because that's the highest I can go without triggering impact fees in some jurisdictions. Quality of construction is probably one of the less intuitive fields. What this refers to is the trim and the finish and the appliances that you'll be equipping the ADU with. So when it says low cost standard premium, that's not that doesn't mean that low cost is like dirt cheap, and it doesn't mean premium is like lifestyles of the rich and famous. What it is more an indication. Premium is like your high end at a big box store like Home Depot. Low cost is going to feature more appliances and finish that you expect to replace every few years because you have to replace things more frequently with rental units. Standard is the most typical price range, especially when people are designing an ADU that they plan on living in or moving a relative into. So I'm going to pick standard, which is probably going to be a mix of, hardwood and carpet, some nice appliances. If I went premium, it would reflect the fact that I might expect to put tiling in or nice countertops. And low cost might be carpets in most of the apartment and sort of entry-level appliances. But we're going to go standard. Do you want to estimate the construction cost? Yeah, no, that's the whole point of this, is letting the calculator do it. So site conditions is another less intuitive one if you don't have any experience building. A typical site is flat and has relatively easy access. So you can bring equipment and materials in without worrying. The big things are slope, and access. So if you're on a hillside, that's going to be pretty expensive, and there's a lot of reasons why. It'll affect your foundation, and you might need a soil engineer, and blah, blah, blah. And then if you have access, so if the lot is a nice, flat, open corner lot with lots of access points, you're great because you can bring materials in, you can park in the street or in the driveway. If you have a pretty narrow access point, that's going to limit construction, and it's going to add to your costs throughout the construction of the project. So you have typical construction costs, or a regular lot with some challenges, think hard to access, or you have hillside, which is straight up expensive. Now, most of our lots are typical construction costs, so I'll put that, but obviously use the qualifier that feels like it describes your lot. Now we're ready to look over here at the results. Again, I'm going to focus on the bottom part because that's the construction costs. This is supposed to be all-in construction costs. So you have the estimated all-in cost of a typical 749 square foot project in southern San Francisco, the part that's in San Mateo County. And that cost is broken down into 3 parts. Hard cost, that's your construction and means material and labor. You've got your soft costs, which is kind of everything else. It can include architects or designers or consultants, engineers. So the permitting and inspection fees for a typical ADU of this size are included in this fee section. It also includes estimates for utility connection fees and capacity charges. An important call out, this has 0 impact fees estimated because we picked 749 square feet. If you stick to under 750 square feet, you don't need to think about impact fees. Now, some cities and jurisdictions have really excessive impact fee charges once you exceed 750 square feet. Others have very low or no impact fees, even if you're larger than that. So it's a really important step to research separately, and I didn't want to muddy the cost calculator with that exercise. Now, in some places, you can go up to 1,000 or 1,200 square feet, and it's totally worth it. So definitely do your research about your area and whether you want to go bigger than 749. All right, what if I do not live in San Mateo County? Construction costs vary a lot depending on where you're located. Material can cost different amounts, and labor can cost different amounts. So I've got a list of construction costs by city in California and a multiplier for each city. You can find a link to that in the description under this video. Using it is super simple, and if you want to help improve the list, comment on this video. There are detailed instructions in the list about how to make improvements suggestions most constructively, but any kind of comment, and it'll help me build out this list over time with accurate construction costs for different cities. I hope this is helpful in getting a rough ballpark estimate of the cost of your ADU. If it is, hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel to get more information like this. There's a lot of different ways to do your initial costing, and so there's a playlist that you can watch of a lot of different videos about costing out your ADU. And then once you figure out a rough cost, you're probably ready to get financing. So check out the playlist about financing your ADU. And good luck, Godspeed, build a lot of ADUs.